So it seems that my journey is just a case of every time I try something new, it provides a whole new learning experience, which is pretty cool. So today I'm doing an update on yesterday's update about my feasting and fasting journey. Hi there, my name is Sue. If you've not visited my channel before, I've been on the carnivore diet just a little bit over 2 years, and I am in Bella's steak and butter gang currently and doing feasting and fasting and having a little bit of trouble. So as I mentioned yesterday, if you haven't seen my video yesterday, you can go back and watch that to see where I was at yesterday. And I'd been trying to decide whether to break my fast early the day before, and I ended up doing that because I was really kind of struggling. And I've been doing quite a lot of fasting over about the last 3 weeks. And it seems that maybe what I've been doing has kind of got me to a point where my body's kind of saying no more. So today, what's actually happened is that I ate yesterday and I had dinner last night, and then I had a bone broth with some butter blended into it about probably 8:30, and I thought, okay, so I'm going to fast from there through till tomorrow afternoon. So I was going to do around about 41 hours. Well, today, this morning we decided to go to a trash and treasure market that's about 40 minutes or so away, because we don't get out of the house enough these days, and so we decided yesterday we were going to go to that, and the weather is pretty yucky today. You can see what it looks like here. So anyway, it was threatening rain, but we went anyway, and it was nice to get out of the house and go and do something. So we did. It was quite a big market. We did 2 rounds around that and bought a couple of little bits and pieces, and then we came home. Now on the way home, we stopped at the supermarket to get a couple of things that I'd forgotten to get in the shopping on Friday. And what I was kind of noticing was when we were at the market, I was really hungry, and I thought, oh, well, it might pass. I'll see how it goes. And I'd kind of, even though I had sort of pretty much had my hopes set on doing another fast today through till tomorrow, I'd kind of thought I'd allow myself a little bit of ease there and thought, okay, I'll see how I actually feel. And because, I was hungry, I was like, is this gonna work? And then when we got into the supermarket, I was looking at all sorts of things that I wouldn't normally look at, and I started to realize that I was actually being quite obsessive in my mind about food and thinking about lots of different things. I mentioned in yesterday's video how I was kind of thinking about pumpkin and mashed cauliflower, which is really unusual. And yeah, today, when I actually thought about what was kind of going on in my head when I was in the car, and then definitely at the supermarket looking at all the food, I was just like, I think that I need to have a little break from the fasting. And so when we came home, I broke my fast. I had some eggs and some bacon, and all is well. But it's disappointing. I find myself, it's in my expectations of myself, I guess, pretty high in my expectation that I should be able to do this now. I thought that I was going to be able to do the steak and butter gang calendars and just stick with them and work my way all the way through it and just be able to do it, and maybe lose the 10 kilos that I wanted to lose in 10 months, and 3 months, sorry. And I don't know that that's going to happen because, yeah, it's a dangerous place for me to get to with that whole obsessing over food. I've spoke about this, I think, in some of my videos in the past, about my obsession with food, like throughout my life. And I think I basically had some kind of an eating disorder. I don't know what a psychologist might call it, or somebody who has one of those great big manuals. But there was definitely something going on with me in food until I started on the carnivore diet. And since I've been on carnivore, things have been really good. I don't obsess over food. I don't have any desire to have anything outside of, what I allow myself to eat. I really don't have any kind of major kind of thinking about food and stuff apart from, what am I going to eat? Am I going to have steak? Am I going to have chicken? Am I going to have both? It's like the hunger isn't the same, and the mental aspect of my desire for food and variety in food, I guess, hasn't been the same. And so finding myself the last couple of days really kind of returning to kind of familiar patterns of thinking about food is a little bit concerning, and today really was. And I mean, I had eaten a good amount of food yesterday, so it's not that my body's out of, starving or anything like that, but I think the amount of fasting I've done over the last, 3 weeks or so has, I don't know whether it's impacted my body or my mind, probably both, I guess. And so, yeah, I don't know that I can continue with this at the moment. So, my plan now is to go back to where I was prior for a little bit and just eat 1 or 2 meals a day, probably. I'm not going to go back to priming. I don't think I need to go there. If I get myself to a point where I think I can fast again and I fail again, then I might go back to priming. But I don't really want to go back to the priming because, I kind of tend to gain a little bit of weight when I'm doing that. So my plan at the moment is to go back to just eating 1 or 2 meals a day, get myself to a point where I'm not obsessing over food again, and where my hunger is kind of less, and then I'll try the fasting again. So that might be a few days, it might be a week, it might be a couple of weeks, I don't know how long. But I'll go back to tracking my food, making sure that I'm kind of eating just a little bit below my TDEE, and definitely not above it. And that's what I was doing kind of just prior to going on to carnivore, and I was losing a little bit of weight anyway. So if I can, hopefully I can continue to drop some weight anyway. We'll wait and see what happens. I actually wonder, I saw something the other day. I don't know who I was listening to, and they said something about, that's what it was. I was watching this doctor who was being interviewed by Dave, who interviewed me. So Dave from Zero Carb, he's at Zero Carb on YouTube. He interviewed a doctor, and I can't think what his name is. He's got a gingery coloured beard, and he was really really interesting to listen to. On the thumbnail, it's got corruption, because he was talking about the corruption in the medical industry with statins and stuff. And he mentioned in there that if you can get yourself into ketosis for about 6 weeks, it resets your hormones. And so I'm wondering if that's actually what happened when I went on the high-fat carnivore diet, because I was on that for about 7 weeks, and it's since then that a lot of things seem to have changed. So that is kind of really interesting, and so that potentially might be something that I might look at doing again, depending on how things go after this, because initially I lost a bit of weight when I was on the high-fat carnivore diet, but then once again my histamine problems seemed to kick in, and that was why I ended up stopping. And then also when I had my fasting insulin tested, and it was higher than the previous time, that kind of had me a little bit like, so that was why I stopped the high-fat carnivore diet. But I may even just have a think about cycling the high-fat and lower-fat versions, because I think that with the way that the histamine affects me, it seems to be, when I change things up and I do something too intently for a little bit, then I can have problems. It's like with the fasting, I start the fasting now and I'm okay for a bit, and then it starts to kick off. I was like that on the high-fat carnivore diet. I was okay to start with, and then the histamine thing kind of kicks off. So for me, with my body, it might just be a case of changing things up, because my body's always kind of been like that. It seems to, I don't know, it seems to adapt to things, and then whatever results I'm getting kind of stop. And so that's kind of been the case historically with everything that I've tried. So yeah, I don't know whether that even makes sense, but it's something that I might have a think about. So yeah, I just wanted to do a quick update on this and just talk about where I'm at today, because my plan has changed, and so I'll do another update probably later on in the week or next weekend and see where I'm at. But at this stage, I'm just going to eat food, track what I'm eating, and see what happens. And with a view to doing more fasting later. I mean, it might be a case of eventually maybe doing a 48-hour fast a week, or a couple of shorter fasts a week or something like that. I don't know. I'll see. I have to play with it and see what actually works for me. But right now, I think I just need to eat food because I don't like where my whole food obsession thing's going. And I don't want to fall off the wagon because I haven't done that in 2 years. And so, yeah, that has just got me a little bit concerned. So, yeah, so if you've got any comments or questions, pop those below this video. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe, share with anyone you think might be interested. And I thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you again another day. Bye for now.